Hey, I am laughing because it is Wednesday. Welcome to Tune Up Tuesday, Wednesday edition. Oh man, this week is so crazy. Things are going by so fast. Days are blurring together as I'm sure they are for you. I heard somebody describe to me that, you know, as the days of the weeks are now basically yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That's it. With all everybody being locked in, the kind of weekends and the days and everything just starts blurring together. So, hey, Sinitra, welcome to Tune Up Tuesday, Wednesday edition. This is a broadcast I normally do at some point on Wednesday, where I take some time out, I jump in and try to share some useful food for thought, some perspective, some things that I've used in the past that I found to be very, very instrumental in my quest to get better at stuff. So it dawned on me late in yesterday that I let the whole day go by with no Tune-Up Tuesday. But you know what I didn't factor in? What I didn't factor in, and when I started doing these Tune-Up Tuesdays, talking about these tune-up philosophies and thinking about these tune-up philosophies has led to me tuning myself up, right? So things are just happening now. I'm hyper busy. I literally, my day yesterday once it started, it didn't slow down till way late into the day, which is a good thing. Blessed to be busy, right? So, hey Pedro, welcome to Tune Up Tuesday, Wednesday edition. So, just a reminder that, just the mindset of these ideas are impactful. Which is why I do these, right? So even if people just kind of think about the things we talk about on these Tune-Up Tuesdays, or some of you take action on some of these, you will be quite amazed as to what might come of it. Hey, Camilo, welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to Tune-Up Tuesday, Wednesday edition. Yes, I do know that it is not Tuesday, but yes, I was so busy yesterday, I couldn't get it in. I normally get it in where I can fit it in, like I'm doing right now. I'm in between phone calls and webinars and all the stuff that is now the new normal. So, Kevin, hey brother, welcome to the broadcast. Mr. Joe Dyer, we need to catch up, brother. Welcome to the broadcast. Man, it's been so, I'm letting everybody know that this is Tune Up Tuesday, Wednesday edition. That's what happens when you get tuned up. Things just start to take a life of their own, man. Things start to go faster and my plate's completely full, which is how I wanted it. If you tuned into my early versions of Tune Up Tuesday, I suggested that that's what people do, that they find a way to add more things to their plate, one that's going to demand you to generate more energy, and it's going to keep you from unconsciously allowing yourself to fall into focusing on negative things that will not serve you. So I ate my own medicine, and now I'm a victim of what the medicine does, because I'm hyper busy. Hey guys, Terry, welcome to the broadcast. Welcome. So here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to jump right in. Today's idea is a summary concept. A summary concept for a formula for what I consider to be a pretty productive, lean forward life strategy. I'm going to summarize it in a pretty simple way for you to get it and apply it maybe, or think about it. Remember, the goal of these Tune-Up Tuesdays, I want you to treat it like a buffet table, if you will. Buffet table of philosophies, right? Sometimes you're going to see some things that you already know, that you dig. Just pile that stuff on your plate if it serves you already. Some things, for whatever reason, is not going to vibe with you. Leave it on the buffet table. And some things are going to be new, and they're going to be kind of interesting, but things you've not tried or thought about in that way. Those, I think, are going to be the opportunities for your greatest growth, right? So these are new perspectives on things. So here we go. The idea I want to share today is kind of, if you want to summarize, like take a lot of the things I do in terms of life strategy, business strategy, entrepreneur strategy, personal growth strategy, and you want to summarize them into the simplest way to articulate a practical way to apply them, it's come to be what I now call the small room locked door strategy. So when I look back across my life at the things that have made the biggest impact, and the thing that put me on the most serving path, the thing that has been the best for me over time, they all have something in common. They all fit this idea of what I call the small room and a locked door. Here's the concept. A small room just means you take all of humans, you take all of humanity, and if you the smaller group you can get yourself in, identifiable group, and this is a group by choice, it's going to probably be better for you than the larger group. And I'll give you some examples. And especially when there's a barrier to entry to getting in the small group. Now, barrier entry means that there's a cost involved. Cost can be money, cost can be discomfort, cost can be effort. But there's a cost to get in the small room. Usually, when you take the path of a small room with a locked door, the locked door being the metaphor for there being a cost to get in the small room, it's probably taking you someplace that's going to serve you. Let me give you an example. The vast majority, let's take education for example. A lot of people, the vast majority of people will go and finish high school. A smaller group of people will go to a secondary form of education, whether it be a trade school or college or university, etc. That's a small room. Does it have a locked door? Yes. Does it have a barrier to go into the small room? Education is one that actually does. There's a barrier to get into school, usually financial, time constraints, getting accepted, etc. So that's an example of a small room with a locked door. My life is full of these small rooms with locked doors, right? So you look across all of the citizens in the United States, a small room of the population has served in the military. Small room, locked door. Boot camp might be the locked door in that case. A smaller group of people have been officers in the military. See, so I constantly go for smaller rooms, locked doors. Being an entrepreneur is a very small room. And a locked door is a door that takes some effort to unlock. It's all kind of stuff to unlock that entrepreneur locked door. So if you look at your life, if you look at your goal, and if you look at where you are, and then you have a vision or goal of where you're trying to go, who you're trying to become, some place between who you are and where you want to go, who you are and who you want to become, where you are and where you want to go, I guarantee you is what you will see between that, what this idea of a small room with a locked door. That's probably your best, most legitimate path to get there. Whatever the majority of people are doing is probably not going to create a difference, something of value for you. And if there's no barrier to entry at all, it's probably not going to serve you as well. I've just found, and you can look back across the history of your life, of the decisions that you've made that have ended up being something that really, really served you, would it fit this small room, locked door idea, metaphor? Chances are they will. So here's the goal. Let's take this COVID lock-in thing right now. The vast majority of people are quarantined in, and the vast majority of people are just kind of watching news, watching Netflix, blah, blah, blah. A smaller group of people are systematically using this time to get in better fitness. A smaller group of people are trying to use this time to upgrade themselves, to version themselves, right? To go from version 1 to version 2, or whatever that means. A small group of people are trying to increase their skill set or add a new skill set or increase their body of personal knowledge. And many of the things I just mentioned do have a locked door. Remember, a locked door just means a barrier to entry. Some type of cost that must be paid. Cost does not have to just be money, but it can be money. It can be effort or time or focus or discomfort or being uncomfortable. There's a cost associated with being in the room. So the question I have for you to ask for yourself is, when you look at what you're trying to do this year, for the remainder of this year, or in the next year, or the next 2 years, 3 years, wherever your goals may be, can you now that you have this concept, this tool, this thinking technology, right? Can you identify small rooms and locked doors? I am willing to bet if you can go from small door, pay the price to get in the small room, pay the locked door, unlock the door, get in the small room, then once you're in that small room, look out at where you want to go from that perspective, find a smaller room, unlock the door and get in that smaller room. You will find yourselves getting in better, more valuable places. Because what happens over time is the person you are in these future smaller rooms is a much more valuable person than you were back in the room with more people in it. The broader the participation, the less valuable the participation. The easier it is to participate, mostly, the less valuable that participation is going to be for you. There's just something inherently true about challenge. That's why I like to use athletic metaphors. That's why my podcast is called Athletica. Is this idea that the better things in life lie on the other side of challenge. Regardless of what discipline or part of your life they may be, they most often lie on the other part of challenge. But a good way to approach challenge is as athletes do. Challenge is inherent to the game. Challenge is something we prepare for, we change for, we don't try to avoid, right? If you're in an athletic program or you're an athlete yourself, you don't avoid the athletic competition. It's inherent to what you do. It's like you being a fish trying to avoid water. No, it's so persistent in what you do, you almost don't even talk about it. Fish, if they could talk, probably never talk about water. It's just around us. It's like us talking about air. We tend not to talk about it unless we have a lack of it, right? Or we're suffering from some poor quality of it. But it's so persistent in what we do, it's omnipresent. It's always there. I'm going to argue that so is challenge. But I'm also going to argue that so is the path you choose to take. The most common path people take are in big rooms, larger rooms. They go the opposite way. They go to large rooms with no locked doors, large room with open doors. That's the easy path. That's the path most taken. I think there's a poem written about the path less taken. That's it, so that's basically the idea I wanted to share today. It's a good one. It's an easy way to summarize where you are, who you are. I guarantee you, if you have rank, title, and or influence and or privilege, you've gotten there through taking a path through some smaller room with a locked door. The conceptual small room with a locked door. It's pretty amazing how simple this idea is, but it's very, very powerful when you're trying to lay out your plan. If you can become somebody that looks for small doors, that looks for small rooms, that becomes a lockpick at picking the lock. Everything's a challenge, right? College is a good example of that. Secondary education is good at that. Getting a new skill set is a good that. Being an entrepreneur, launching a business is definitely a good example of that. All of these are examples of smaller rooms with locked doors. So in your path of becoming, remember, in your path of becoming, when you look at what you are about to do next, is adopting that going to put you in a smaller group of the population that is doing that, or a big group of the population that is doing that? My suggestion on this Tune-Up Tuesday, Wednesday edition is you want to find a small room with a locked door. So, wow, lots of people tuned in. Hey, Bill. Hey, Aaron. Stancil, my man. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Kenny. A lot of people tuned into this. As always, I'd like to tell you, this is just something I'm doing to keep my mind creative and fully energized. I completely missed Tuesday yesterday because my Tuesday started early, and literally I had like five back-to-back webinars and or conference calls yesterday. Super busy day, but believe it or not, a lot of what's now on my plate in the last couple of weeks is a result, probably, I'm going to argue, of me starting these Tune-Up Tuesdays maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Because the act of me thinking about them, talking about them, being in the moment about them is reminding me about them, which makes me act on them. And when you act on these principles, things happen. So I have a huge amount of things, good stuff, positive things happening that are all just happening in the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to credit them to this, to Tune-Up Tuesday, baby. I indirectly tune myself up just a little bit. Here's the good thing about tuning up your philosophy, because that's basically what we talk about here. The result of the tune-up is not one-to-one. It's not linear. It's like if you get a little bit tuned up, doesn't create a little bit better result. It's exponential. A little bit of tune-up creates an exponentially big result. Okwasetaha. I've always loved your name, brother. It sounds tribal and royal. Hey man, good to see you. Aaron, welcome to the broadcast. Road less traveled has made all the difference. That poet said what I'm saying now, but I'm telling you a way that's easy for me to remember as I constantly go through this idea of, is this a small room and does it have a locked door? Because if it's a big room with an open door, it's probably fun and interesting and maybe even seems inviting, and everybody rushing that way is not going to serve me. It's not going to serve me. What everybody's doing is probably not what you need to be doing. So think about how people are even thinking about the COVID lock-in, upside down, sideways world situation. A very small group of people are consciously and on purpose and committing to using whatever this weird time is of having more time to yourself to come out of this a better you than you went into this. Very few people are putting structure to that, are putting systems to that, are doing something systematic about that. Some group of people are working out and trying to do some of those things, but not the largest group of people. The largest group of people are finding something interesting to watch on Netflix, right? A smaller group of people are using this time to work out or be consistent. And even smaller group of people are using this time to change some habits, to do an inventory of their habits, to out with the bad, in with the new with their habits, right? We're talking about very small rooms with locked doors. The smaller room, the better. The smaller room, the better. So I think you guys got the idea. Sorry I missed you on Tuesday, but here I am. Still consistent. It's still consistent at the weekly basis, and it's still Tune Up Tuesday. It's just the Wednesday edition. All right, guys, that's it. If you like this kind of stuff, I think I'm on episode, I lost track, I think maybe 94 or 95 on the Symbol Athletica podcast. And I'm just about, if I haven't hit it already, about to hit 1,000 listeners. Can you believe that? And this just started as a passion project July of last. So it's got a life of its own. And that's full of these type of things that I talk about. So if you like this stuff, tune into that. You might steal something, apply it in your life, and be very selfish about your intent to get something out of it that's going to serve you. That's the posture I encourage you to take when you tune into the stuff I do. Be selfish in this moment. Come to next week, if I remember to do it on Tuesday, show up with very selfish intent to leave Tune Up Tuesday tuned up in a way that's going to serve you selfishly. It's okay. You're going to be okay. It's all right. Nobody's going to judge you. You're going to be better off for it. All right, guys. Hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you guys are being safe. Hope you guys are well. And I think the world's about to turn a corner, and we're about to turn the chapter. We're not going back to normal. Chapter normal, if that was the chapter we were in, we've now closed that chapter. We're now starting the next chapter. It will not be a continuation of what we just left. It'll be the new normal. And in the new normal, there are going to be some massive ways you can better leverage yourself. Why? Because it's new. And everybody's starting in the new normal at the same time. In a lot of these conference calls I'm in with some big tech companies. A lot of them are tech companies. Many of them whose names you know. And some of them are not tech companies, but they're big companies whose brands you know and or use as every day as consumers. These are really big international global companies. A lot of those companies right now are versioning themselves. They're taking this disruption in normal to make themselves better. And I'm hustling, baby, trying to connect dots and make sure that I'm in some of those conversations, trying to be the conduit from people going to where they are to what the next thing. So I'm doing at the corporate level what I'm encouraging you to do at the individual level. Upgrade yourself, virgin yourself, all right? And one way to do that is to consciously look for a smaller room with a locked door. Can y'all hear the song in the background? This song gets me hyped every single time. I like piano heavy EDM. That's my jam. That's my stuff right there. All right, guys. You guys be good. I got to jump back into my workday. Be safe.